prohibit the cheeses that fit under 33%.
The cheese that normally would have been labeled in some way? And you have to label off?
And the office can answer this, Mr. Chair.
The shredded cheese.
The shredded cheese is prohibited.
That's correct.
You're right. Next.
I would assume that one of them is extra sharp.
Sharp cheddar,
Right.
prohibited. Another guess? You got two left. You did right.
Well, I would defer to the federal bureaucrat who came up with this list.
That's my favorite word of the day. I love that you're willing to cede power to the federal government. Okay, the big block of cheese, GOP prohibited because it's too big. Even though that big block of cheese is per ounce cheaper than the smaller blocks. The only block of Wisconsin cheese here that is approved is mild or medium cheddar.
In a 16 ounce.
In a 16-ounce container. Now, Senator Strobel, you said two words that drive me crazy in this building. Let's let common sense prevail. How does this make sense?
What makes sense is to have foods that provide nutritional value. That's what makes sense to the people who utilize this program. And that's what the whole focus is. You can go to every little detail and every nuance you want, but in the end, we're trying to enhance healthy eating. That's what this is all about. I don't know who's opposed to that.
So what's the nutritional difference between sharp cheddar and mild cheddar?
Again, for the whole interoperable function of this bill, which is unfortunately because of our federal government, the only way it can happen, we have to utilize a standardized system, and that's what the WIC program is, a standardized system.
I think that is a terrible answer. And you know, in a state that produces one whole heck of a lot of great cheddar, whether it's sharp or mild, it goes a long way to confusing folks and shutting the door. And I hope this illustration shows you just the arbitrary nature. So the mild cheddar, for example, it's the same quantity and price, but it's shredded. Why in the world would you bar someone from buying shredded cheese versus a block of cheese? And don't blame the federal government. Why? You wrote a bill that makes a difference between shredded and non-shredded cheese, and then you come into Madison and say, let's let common sense prevail. How in the world does that make sense?
Because that is the only criteria where a system like this could be set up as such. And again, if you want to amend this bill and put whatever kind of cheese in there that you want, I'm sure we're not opposed to that.
I look forward to your vote. I promise again, I made a promise earlier, and I'm going to follow up with an additional cheese promise. I have a question regarding cashiers at grocery stores.